If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
I have a young lady here with us today who needs no introduction. She has just been announced as the new superintendent of the Sylacauga City Board of Education.
Yes,
and good
sir.
morning to you, Dr. Ellen. Thanks for being with us today.
Good morning.
A little bit about yourself and how did you get to Sylacauga, Alabama?
That's a good question. I'm a veteran teacher. I will always be a teacher. I've been an administrator. I've been central office. I've been assistant superintendent. And when the opportunity came open for Sylacauga, I had several former colleagues reach out to me and tell me that, it would be a great opportunity for me with my skill set. And I've always loved this town. I've lived most of my life in Eclectic, which is about 45 minutes from here.
Not far from here.
No. And much of my time at the lake and coming through here and shopping and eating, and I know the reputation that Sylacauga has always had.
What kind of drew you to Sylacauga?
To me, it has the whole package. It's a community with the entire package. You have the academics here, you have the fine arts here, career technical education, the athletics, but beyond that you have such community support. And as you know, education cannot be done alone. It takes a village. And Sylacauga has that village.
We, in education, in broadcasting, whatever you were involved in 2020, there were challenges that we never had to face before.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll never have to face again as we're coming out of the COVID pandemic in 2021. What are some things that we learned through this process?
Well, one, I think we learned that we can be resilient in the face of the unknown, that we can be resilient. I also think that those temporary school closures really showed us the importance of education, the importance of our teachers, the importance of the institution of school itself. And so I think those were very important lessons that we learned as a whole. We're still going to face a lot of challenges this year just based on that, based on the fear that's still there, based on the learning loss. But we know that our educators are ready for that challenge. They proved last year that they can teach no matter the circumstance. And our students showed that they want to learn, that education's important.
How far are we behind? I'm sure we're behind some. That might almost have to be.
Right. We've got students now that are attending summer school, both at all of our campuses. We have literacy camps taking place, STEM camps taking place. We have face-to-face summer school instruction taking place at both our middle and our high school. So we're doing everything we can this summer to try to bridge that gap. And it's attainable. It's attainable. We hope to be on track this next school year. Dr.
Michele Eller, the new superintendent, now, have you already started? Are you starting July 1?
I started June 1st.
Okay.
I started June 1st.
So your feet's on the ground then, good?
Yes, yes.
So what are some things that you've seen already that you say, hey, this is pretty good. Maybe we need to tweak here, tweak there. What are some of the things you've seen?
Like I said before, we've got programs in place. We have, academics, the arts, career tech, athletics. So we have the structure there. What I see that needs to take place is probably a little more streamlining. And what I mean by that is ensuring that the programs we have at one school, we are filtering those programs in from primary up, so that it's not just in high school that you're exposed to certain things such as broadcasting, that you have the opportunity to be exposed to that even at the elementary level. And so that we're growing students, we're growing their interest, we're growing their, cultivating their knowledge level, so that by the time they reach that high school level, they know or have a pretty good idea of, I'm good at this, I like this, I think this might be the career path that I want to go into. and they've got that foundation there to actually pursue it.
With the pandemic hopefully further in our rearview mirror than it's ever been, what do you foresee for the fall with our schools?
We foresee opening business as usual. We plan to be face-to-face 5 days a week. Now, that doesn't mean that we are ignoring the fact that the virus is still here.
Sure.
We will definitely have those safety measures in place to ensure that our buildings are clean, our students are safe, our personnel is safe. So we're still putting all those measures in place, but our plan is to be face-to-face 5 days a week because that's what our students need.
And to be prepared for that come August, a lot of work's got to be done between now and then.
Yes, and we are working.
Yeah.
We are working in our buildings. Our teachers are working on pacing guides and instructional strategies. Yes, we're working.
Sylacauga City School System has for years been on the cutting edge of technology and getting people in the right places. Those people that need to be here are here, and that kind of thing. What makes Sylacauga so special is because I travel quite a bit, and I hear people say, "Oh, Sylacauga, yeah, they got a great school system there."
Right. I think it goes back to, one, the foundation. Sylacauga's had a solid, good foundation. But two, it goes back to community. Like I said before, you cannot do education alone. And so what makes Sylacauga great is the community support.
Got a great sports program here, have had for years, and it's not just football and basketball and baseball, but it is soccer and tennis and golf and the student athlete. Talk to the student athlete a little bit this morning, and they are that, student athletes.
Yeah. We know that athletics is extremely important for students, just as those other avenues. We know that it builds critical thinking, problem-solving skills, teamwork. Those are all skill sets that are needed in the workforce and in life. And so we are going out and recruiting the very best. And then we're also equipping the coaches that we do have to ensure that our programs are what those athletes need. And those programs are also encouraging them with academics as well, because we know that we have to have a balanced approach. Those athletes have to be prepared for the collegiate level, for the national level, if that's where they choose to go. So it comes back to balance as well, to ensure that we're giving them the athletic skills they need, but also giving them the academics they need to pursue it.
We've had so many academic success stories that come out of Sylacauga City School System, and they continue long after that young man or young lady graduates from Sylacauga, and it's fantastic.
Right. We hope to bring some of those back to actually speak to our students. And encourage them and say, look, this is what I was able to do with my degree from Sylacauga High School.
Talk a little bit about first grade, second grade, third grade, and I've got a grandson he just graduated from the fifth grade. He's headed out to Nichols Lawson, the sixth grade, and he's all fired up, and but there's a little bit of difference in going from 5 to 6. There
is, and I cannot express just the importance of kindergarten. I know that right now kindergarten is not necessarily a state mandated requirement, but kindergarten is not the kindergarten it was when we were in school. It's so vitally important to build that foundation both in literacy and in math with our students. And then our first and second grade builds upon that foundation. And we've got a great school. We've got a great principal. We have some measures in place to really assist our students with reading. We know with the Alabama Literacy Act that our students must be reading on grade level by grade 3. And so we have heightened our efforts in that building to really ensure that all of our students are reading.
Dr. Michele Eller, our guest this morning, recently named superintendent, completing her first month on the job. And, you know, you got vacations coming up, and then you got school starting back before you know it. You've got football and all this kind of stuff, and you kind of have to hit the ground running, don't you?
Yes. Not sure if there'll be a vacation this year, but that's okay. We've got a lot of work to do, and we want to make sure that we're ready to roll in August.
We've had some major rebuilds and new buildings and that kind of thing. What do you see in the immediate future as far as maybe building upgrades or something else we might be looking at?
For the most part, our buildings are in very good shape except for Pinecrest, and we know that, and they've known that for a while. That will be the next one that really needs some attention. And it will be either trying to continue to Band-Aid the building or possibly look at building something new. That would be on the horizon. Our other buildings, all the structures are great. We've got a new roof going on at Nicholson. We have a new roof going on at the field house.
I sweat every time I go by there too. Those people are working hard.
Yes. New HVAC systems going in to the middle school. So to ensure that the air is what it needs to be so our kids can stay cool. So I would have to say Pinecrest.
Are we short of teachers? Are we okay with teachers right now?
We have a couple of openings, and those are just basically because teachers either have moved or gotten married or other factors such as that. So we have a couple of openings still left, a couple at our high school, I think maybe now one at our middle, and a couple of openings that just opened up at Indian Valley. And
you've got to be pleased with what you found here in Sylacauga within the central office, because so many veterans over there that can help you. Oh, yes. We have a great team, and I'm excited to be working hand in hand with them. All right, Dr. Michele Eller, our guest this morning. She is the superintendent for Sylacauga City Board of Education. Are you one of those hands-on people that gets in the schools and walks the halls? Yes. I have to have a pulse on it. I have to have my hand on the pulse. So yes, I'm a very visible leader, and I'm one that I have no problem going in and teaching a lesson if a lesson needs to be taught or kids need to be watched, or I've tried to spend as much time even this summer within our buildings. We see and continue to see, even with the COVID pandemic, from time to time, we'll have an issue in a school where security has been breached, and that's so important, security of our, not just for our children, but for our staff. Yes. One of the things we're going back and implementing is a badge system for our staff members. That's to help with security. We've also got 2 SROs that do a fabulous job, and they just actually went to training just a couple of weeks ago so that they could stay current with current procedures and policies. And so we're going to do everything we can to ensure that everybody's safe, our students and our staff. Finally, this morning, budgets. All of us have got one. Yes. Some just larger than others, and you got to keep your hand on the pulse of the budgets here as well. Yes. We've been looking at budget amendments this past week to ensure that everything's in line with what we need it to be in line with. We have the benefit right now of the federal funds that have come in, but of course we know that federal funding is earmarked for certain things. And so what we're doing now is shifting what we can spend with those federal funds to federal funds, which will free up our local funds to do maybe things we couldn't do before. So. Dr. Michele Eller, our guest this morning, thanks so much for coming this morning. Look to have you back on again as we get closer and closer to school. And summer school is going on now, is that right? Yes, we're in full force with summer school. We also partnered with SAFE this summer and with Central Alabama Community College. So our high school students are actually getting the opportunity to do summer school and to do dual enrollment classes, and to also have ACT prep, and we're doing a workforce ready course.
And so I was excited to have that partnership out the gate with both SAFE and with CAC.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming this morning.
Thank you.
Got more Daybreak just ahead as we roll along on a Friday morning, the 25th day of June. More Daybreak after this.